December 18th, 2017 meeting of the New Caney Independent School District Board of Trustees at 6:34 p.m. Let the minutes show that quorum is present with all members in attendance. Please rise for the invocation to be given by Mr. Turner and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and honor the Texas flag to be led by Mr. Wood.
Please bow. Dear Heavenly Father, we do thank you for this wonderful day you've given us. We ask that you keep your hand over all these families as they travel. We do thank you for our wonderful students, our wonderful employees that you've given us. We ask you to keep a hand over them again throughout this season. We do thank you for all you do, and we do love you and praise you. And thank you. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Salute. Pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honoring
the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, item 2 on the agenda is recognitions. We are going to start with Mr. Strickland.
Good evening. As you can tell, there's quite a bit of a gathering back there at the back. Dr. Marlon Morris from Caney ISD and his staff and students would like to make a presentation to Caney ISD. Dr. Morris?
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
I like your setup. I'm not going to lie. This is nice. That is nice. We love it. But that's not what we're here. Folks, you are neighbors, and you really reached out your hand, you and your staff, this past fall. We had a little tragedy in our hands, and it was diverted because of our neighbors to the north. So we're here tonight to say thank you. I'm not going to do it justice. We're going to have some students come up in just a moment to speak, just briefly. But from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of our school board, our administrators, our faculty, our staff, and of course our students and parents, we cannot say thank you enough for stepping up at a time of great need. Allowing us to come in, bunk in with your animals. Your parents were awesome, your kids were awesome to us, and we cannot say thank you enough. And before I turn it over, I wanted to quickly comment. We have 3 of our ag teachers here from Kingwood K Park. Valerie Hirsch, there you go. Ms. Yubanowski and Mr. McCarty over here. And I think the students will take away the rest of it. But before I do that, you've got an awesome CTE administrator. Mr. Stripling is phenomenal. He and I have gotten so much closer this past fall, and we look forward to having that fantastic relationship going forward. So at this time, I'll turn it over to our FFA members.
Good evening. My name is Jeremiah Johnson, and I raise steers and lambs for the Humble ISD and Harris County Livestock Shows. Recently, your school district has opened up their arms to the students of Kingwood Park and Kingwood FFA after Hurricane Harvey. Tonight, we would like to extend our gratitude and appreciation to the school board, CTE directors, FFA parents and students, and ag teachers of Porter and New Caney.
Hello, my name is Megan Tarkington, and I'm the president of the Kingwood FFA chapter. I'm currently raising a steer for the Humble Livestock Show and a pig for the Houston Livestock Show. I'd like to extend a sincere thank you to the FFA parents of New Caney ISD. The FFA parents were welcoming, genuine, and caring for all of our animals and took us in like we were part of their chapter and district.
Hi, my name is Olivia Blair, and I am currently raising a pig and a lamb for the Humble Livestock Show, as well as a pig and a lamb for the Houston Livestock Show. I would like to thank the students of New Caney and Porter for opening up your arms as well as your facilities to us during our time of need. Thank you for being kind and friendly, welcoming faces that we could see every time when we went to y'all's facilities.
Hello, my name is Caroline Hurd, and I am currently raising a steer for the Humble Livestock Show and a pig for the Houston Livestock Show. I would like to thank the New Caney advisors, Mr. Bridges, Ms. Lovings, and Mr. and Mrs. Lyles, as well as the Porter High School advisors, Ms. Walker, Mr. McKinley, Mr. Sheffield, and Mr. Chaffin. Thank you for extending your hand to us in our time of need. For us not knowing what Hurricane Harvey would bring, it was comforting to know that our animals would be at a safe facility and out of harm's way. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Addison Tisdale and I'm currently raising a steer for Humble Livestock Show. I cannot express how much it means to us to have a neighboring community open your facility to the members of Kingwood and Kingwood Park and myself to continue our learning of our projects. We want to thank the CTE administration, especially Mr. Strickling.
I'm Caroline Sims, and I'm raising a steer for the Humble Livestock Show. I would like to thank the barn manager at the facility for helping us to keep the barns clean and for dumping the hippo hoppers each morning. Those hoppers were a lifesaver for us whenever we needed to clean out our pens and in helping us keep the barns clean. So thank you to Mr. Duke for being so helpful and leaving those supportive and useful messages on the board for us.
Hello, my name is Caitlin Hegel. I'm currently raising a steer as well for the Humble Livestock Show. Above all, we would like to thank the school board for allowing us to stay in New Caney barns. Without supporters like yourselves, none of this would have been possible. Also, we would like to thank you for allowing all of our exhibitors to stay at the New Caney barns while our barns were being repaired.
Good evening, my name is Aaron Garza, Treasurer for the Kingwood FFA chapter, and I am raising a scramble steer for the Houston Livestock Show. From the bottoms of our hearts, we are so gracious for New Caney. Thank you for the school board, along with the FFA students, parents, advisors, and the CTE administration for everything y'all have done for us in this time of need. For this, Kingwood FFA and the Kingwood Park FFA chapters, along with the entire Humble ISD district, is forever in debt to you. As a small token of our appreciation, we bestow to the school board and each agricultural department a token of our respect at Bannon.
Ag teachers. Ricky, you coming too?
You know, for the school board, you know, we glad y'all were able to, you know, keep all y'all's animals safe. Many of us on the board were out at the barn, you know, for various reasons. A lot of ourselves got either projects down there or were down there for whatever reason. And I'd like to thank the Kingwood and Kingwood Park for their caring of the facility. You know, a lot of times you get in disaster situations like this, people move into areas and they go in and they don't take care of it because it's not theirs. They did a remarkable, excellent job. They took care of the facility just like it was in their backyard. And I appreciate y'all's caring for that. And good luck to y'all and all y'all's projects. If y'all need a new ag barn, I think the designer's here tonight. Okay, next on the agenda is our holiday card design contest winners, Mr. Paris.
President Moreau, members of the board, and Mr. Franklin. The New Caney Independent School District celebrates the success of our wonderful art program with our annual holiday card design contest. We have 4 winners selected from hundreds of entries representing every school in the district. Each of these students will receive a gift card and a box of 25 cards featuring their designs. I'd like to ask these students to come forward. Our elementary school winner is Jocelyn Lopez, a 5th grade student at Crippen Elementary School. Joining her to receive this award are her family, Prince Crystal Mays, and her art teacher, Sally Gune. Our middle school winner is Maria Renteria, an 8th grade student at White Oak Middle School. Joining her to receive this award are her family, Principal Everett Simons, and art teacher David Roach. Our high school graphic arts winner is Jaylene Saucedo, a senior at Moore High School. Joining her to receive her award are her family, Principal Jeremy Harris, and graphics teacher Nelda Taylor. Congratulations. And our high school art winner is Jackie Gerard, a senior at New Caney High School. Joining her to receive her award are her family, Principal David Loyacano, and art teacher Melissa Dupre. Please join me in congratulating.
Next, Mr. Lloyd Connor will make recognition of New Caney High School.
Thank you, Mr. Murray. I'm honored to recognize several students and staff members from New Caney High School. If y'all can please come on up here, the New Caney High School people. Come on over here, please. First, I'd like to recognize Gabby Gonzalez, one of our amazing custodians. Gabby is a hard worker and never seems to take a break. Gabby keeps our school clean and is always there to help. We are very blessed to have her part of our staff. Congratulations, Gabby. Our paraprofessional I'd like to recognize is Jasmine Aldain. Jasmine is our receptionist and does an excellent job. She is very great at multitasking, and she's one of the busiest places at the high school. Congratulations, Jasmine. Our career and technology student we're recognizing is Dada Rodriguez. Dada is a cosmetology student for Mrs. Holloman. Ms. Holloman said Dada is one of the best students in our program. She's a Skills USA member, Blue Ribbon Award winner, and she advanced to state to receive a gold medal during her junior year. She was always volunteering to help her fellow classmates. Next semester, Dada will be taking a certification test to gain her license in cosmetology. Congratulations to Dada. Unfortunately, she was not able to make it here and just receive word, but congratulations to Dada. See if Jackie can come on. Gabby or Jackie?
I'm here.
You are? Come over here. Jackie's very popular tonight. Our fine art student is Jackie Garrett. Jackie is an incredibly talented student. She's a phenomenal artist, a great actor, and singer. Her artistic ability is displayed in her rodeo art drawing. Last year, she played the lead role of Dorothy in our school musical, The Wizard of Oz. She also is a lead singer in our school rock band. Congratulations, Jackie. Okay, if you follow New Caney High School, you may have heard of our student athlete we are recognizing tonight. He was named the 21-5A Most Valuable Player. He's the first quarterback in school history to lead his team to the playoff win. He did that twice, by the way. And recently was named the 5A Billboard Tough Player of the Week for the entire state of Texas. Coach Pennington said this about his senior quarterback. He is a great ambassador to our school, community, and athletic program. With all the accomplishments on the field, he's even a better young man. And I can attest to that. He is a great individual. Congratulations to Jordan Cooper. And Coach Silva is our Mastery Learning Lab teacher. He works in a classroom where students work to regain their credits they are missing. Sometimes these students need extra motivation, and it's great working with these students. He's truly an asset to our staff at New Caney High School, and we're glad he's also a coach with us as well. We're glad to have part of our staff. Congratulations to Coach Silva.
Got one more? Yes.
Oh, it's that.
Great job. Good luck. He already said all those things, and we heard all those things. Congratulations. Thank you, sir.
And next, Mr. Harris will present awards for Porter High School.
Good evening. I'd like to recognize some students and staff from Porter High School tonight. First up, we're going to recognize our teacher, Miss Helena Kelly. Miss Kelly's being recognized due to the fact that she runs a top-notch SPED and PASS program and is very thorough and efficient, like nobody's business, with all the minutia and every detail that's involved in being a SPED department head. She's very professional and timely with all the information that we as administrators need and teachers need, and that allows us to have the proper placement and treatment of our special education students, and we are very lucky to have her. Next, I would like to recognize our paraprofessional, Mr. Daniel Salinas. I know he's here. Mr. Salinas is instrumental in running the office of the House of Business and the House of Engineering. He's also been charged with planning the monthly task of preparing our staff to pick our Sparks of the Month. He translates ARDs, he collects fees, he handles parking for staff and for students. He wears a lot of hats on our campus, and we're glad that he's with us. Next, I would like to recognize our custodian staff for the month. Ms. Teresa Rohr. Oh, yep, there she is. Teresa is, without a doubt, she's always got a smile on her face, and she does her job very, very well. And she doesn't ever hesitate. Whatever you need from her, she's willing to do. A lot of work at Porter High School would not be complete without her. She's always willing to do whatever we ask her to do. She goes above and beyond every single night at Porter High School. She works a lot of long hours, and I have never heard her complain once about the job that she has to do. So thank you, Teresa. Our cafeteria staff that we're going to recognize is Marisela Garza. She's one of my favorite people, and she helps me keep my physique. Ms. Garza is a great employee, and she's always very prompt to work every day. No task in the kitchen is big enough for her. She's always ready to pitch in and help wherever we need her. Even if we're shorthanded, she'll do 2 jobs. She'll do the jobs of 2 people. And she just, I mean, we don't even have to ask her. She just automatically pitches in. She's knowledgeable about all the areas in our cafeteria, always willing to come up with new ideas to try to make things more efficient in our cafeteria. She loves all her coworkers, and she is a vital part of our staff at Porter High School. Thank you. Our student athlete that we'd like to recognize is Jonathan Doolin. Jonathan is, from day one of stepping on the campus of Porter High School, I knew he was a leader. It was very obvious the way that he carries himself in the classroom and outside the classroom. Some of his accomplishments are he's our team captain of football. He was our Heart of a Champion recipient. He's first team All-District linebacker. He's academic All-District, and he's academic All-State nominee. And we are very thankful that he is part of our student population at Porter High School. Our CTE student that we'd like to recognize is Miss Charlie Burns. Charlie has for the past 2 years, she's only a sophomore, she's been 100% committed to CTE. She is basically a walking billboard for our CTE programs. She goes out, she actively recruits students for our CTE programs, gets them to join our organizations. She's been a member of the Best Robotics team for 2 years. She's competed in Skills USA for the last 2 years. She lettered in TSA as a freshman and has held office in 3 different student organizations, Skills USA, TSA, and Best Robotics. She's also a member of the Spartan Council and is currently a member of the varsity softball team and academic decathlon. And our fine arts student that we'd like to recognize is Peyton Nixon. Right there. Peyton was chosen as a representative of the fine arts because she is an outstanding member of 2 departments within the arts. She is also an officer in both theater and choir. She'll be playing the lead in Peter Pan in the upcoming musical that will be performed at Porter High School in January. She's also a member of the TMEA Region Mixed Choir and advanced to area competition. She is one of the most dedicated and enthusiastic students that we have at Porter High School.
Item 3 on the agenda is consideration of the 2016-17 financial audit presented by Ms. Fain.
We actually have Greg Peterson here from Weaver. He's going to do the presentation tonight of the 16-17 audit.
Hello, Ms. Fain said, my name is Greg Peterson. I was the senior manager on the audit engagement this year. And it's my honor to present the annual financial report for the year ended August 31st, 2017. But before I get started, I'd just like to thank Brandy and her group. We couldn't have done it without them. They provided a lot of service towards us. It takes a lot of hours to get through an audit and to prepare a report this big, so we appreciate all that she's done in her career. So I'd like to start off on page 3, if you have the reports, I guess, on the computers. So page 3 is really the purpose behind this audit. It's for us to render our opinion on these financial statements. And this year, I'm pleased to say that we've issued an unqualified opinion. So that means that is the highest level of assurance that you can receive during an audit. We had no findings, no question caused, no management comments. So very, very clean audit. Next, I would turn your attention to page 7. So this begins the management discussion and analysis section. So this is basically the Reader's Digest version of the audit. This provides a lot of useful information regarding the government-wide financial statements, comparisons, financial highlights. We'll flip on over to page 20, which is Exhibit C1, and these are your fund level financial statements. And we'll just focus tonight on the general fund since it's the primary operating fund of the district. So on page 20, you can see that the general fund had total assets of $32 million, and that was primarily comprised of cash and investments and a $1.9 million property tax receivable. We had total liabilities of $6.8 million, primarily comprised of accrued wages paid. We also had an unassigned fund balance of $23 million with a total fund balance of $23.4 million. Next, we'll skip over to page 24. So this is basically the income statement for your fund level financial statements. Again, we'll focus just on the general fund. You had total revenues of $126.6 million, total expenses of $127.3 million, and a total ending fund balance of $23.4 million, which there was a decrease in the change in fund balance by $700,000, which is primarily due to the district not being able to accrue for academic days due to the hurricane. So that would have made up for this difference had the hurricane not happened, essentially. Next, I'd like to turn to page 29. So this section is the notes of the financial statements. This just provides more detailed information for the balances presented in the financial statements themselves. Probably the most significant financial disclosure we have is on page 41. This is your long-term liabilities. You can see at the top is the summary level of your long-term liabilities, and then below is a listing of all your general obligation bonds that are due. The following page shows how these payments will be made on a go-forward basis until they reach maturity. I guess in closing, I would like to turn to page 89. So this is kind of this is called the schedule of findings and question costs. So this would be like your report card of the audit. This is where we list all of our findings, any question costs that we have, and as you can see here, you received an unmodified opinion on your financial reports. As part of our procedures, we also audit your federal awards. We conduct a single audit, and we render an opinion on that audit as well. And again, it was an unmodified opinion, so it was the highest level of assurance that you can receive in a federal audit. We audited the child nutrition program, and we had no findings, no question costs. So this was a report card to be an A+. So that's all the points I wanted to hit. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have.
Right. Is there a motion to approve the 2016-2017 financial audit?
So moved. Second.
Motion been moved and second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion is approved. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Thank you, Ms. Feynman, and all your staff. Item 4 on the agenda is consideration of out-of-state field trip for Porter High School cheer presented by Mr. Simon.
Good evening. We're here to ask for permission for the Porter High School cheerleaders to attend an out-of-state field trip. In November, they competed in the North Texas Regional Cheer event, scored second place, which qualified them for the National High School Cheerleader Championship to be held in Orlando, Florida, February 8th through 12th. There'll be 30 girls going, 2 coaches, and a school administrator. Cost of the district is $1,350 for the administrator. The cheerleader booster club's throwing in $7,000 to offset the cost, and the cheerleaders are covering the balance.
Are there any questions? Is there a motion to approve the out-of-state field trip for Porter High School cheer?
So moved.
Motion been moved second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion is approved.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck to them.
Thank you.
Item 5 on the agenda is open forum. We didn't have anybody sign up for that. Item 6 on the agenda is closed meeting. The board will now meet in closed meeting under the authority of Texas Government Code Section 551.074 for the purpose of personnel matters, Government Code 551.072 for deliberation regarding purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Government Code 551.071 for a training consultation. Any action as a result of closed session discussion will take place after the board reconvenes in open meeting. The time is 7:03 p.m. The board is closed meeting at 8:48 p.m. and will now reconvene in open session. Item 7 on the agenda is reports and proposals of board members. First item is the continuing education report. Each year in December, the board president is required to announce whether or not each board member has met the required continuing education training. All members have met the training requirements with the following exception. Elizabeth Bowden Harrell was elected in November of 2017 and has not had adequate time to meet all the training requirements. All others have met the training requirements. Item 8 on the agenda is superintendent's report.
Start off with curriculum, Ms. Merrill.
Hi, good evening. I'm happy to bring for you your consideration the middle school course guide and the high school course guide. Very large documents. Be happy to answer any questions that you have, mostly just updating, making sure they're current. Mr. Stripling did a great job with his flow charts and getting all of those organized and up to date with all the TEKS changes that happened with CTE for this 18-19. So that was the bulk of the changes. Anybody any questions? All right, thank you very much.
And now we will have a presentation of Stantec.
Good evening. All right. So we are here to give you an update on where we are with the progress for high school number 3. I'm Laura Sockley with Stantec. I also have Pearl Bias with me, who is our senior project manager. So just wanted to take you through what we have done so far and what we have moving forward. Hopefully the clicker's going to work. There we go. So our process starts with you. And so we've taken some time. Obviously, we've been working with the districts over the last few years, getting to know the district and the community, but we're diving deeper into that because a high school is a very visible and strong reflection of your community and your district, so we want to make sure that we make the right decisions. This is something from the website that talks about what New Caney ISD believes. And a big part of it is modern learning environments with high quality facilities and opportunities for kids. Some other things that we've looked into is talking about reality-based education, making sure that we give students opportunities that they can really take forward and use in their future. Strong academics, quality teachers, community-focused programs, and acknowledging the growing community that you have here in New Caney ISD. You guys have already seen a lot of change, and there's a lot of change coming in the future. When you're designing a high school, we're designing a facility that's not going to be sitting on the ground for another couple of years, and then beyond that is going to be open for another 50 years. So we have to think about the future and not today. And the other things that we've been talking about are potential partnership opportunities. If you're going to give kids reality-based opportunities, partnerships with your community become very important. How can the community help your students as they look forward to their future careers? And there's a lot in the area that can help feed into that. So our planning process is basically, it starts with the concept of acknowledging that we need to prepare for our students' future and not our past. And that's one of the biggest challenges, is understanding that kids today don't learn like we did. And if we plan a school for the way that we learned, then we're going to be 10 steps behind them. So part of that process is embracing the digital generation, understanding that they think differently, learn differently, communicate differently, play differently, and socialize differently. So our process goes through 5 steps, and I'll take you through where we are. The very first step is planning the plan. And so we've worked with an executive committee to really map out who is involved in the process, how long is the process, what are the things we're going to dive into, and then working through identifying what the issues and opportunities are. So one of the biggest things is to set the success criteria for this project, understanding what the potential issues are, what are the goals for the project itself and for the students that are coming out of this facility. And so we've been working through that. One of the processes that we went through was looking at these different things, the culture, the curriculum, the flexibility, supportive technology, and then anything else that's important to New Caney ISD. And you can see this is just a snip of one of the exercises we did where we used images to kind of spark thoughts about what's important to the district and got a lot of feedback about particular things that we want to see out of this facility. And we're going to be using those to develop our guiding principles, and those are things that we're going to come back to at every step of the way. Ideation is the next step, and that's we're already starting to work in that process as well. But really it's about divergent thinking and then convergent thinking. So we want to open up and we want to think about all the possibilities that there are and make sure that we understand what everybody is doing out in the world, and then bring it back into what's best for New Caney ISD. And so a lot of the things that are in that process are activity mapping, not just saying we're going to put a certain number of kids in a classroom. Let's talk about the activities that you want to support and make sure that the facility supports those activities. And then from there, we'll be going into the phase which is concept, so that we're starting to synthesize the big idea, and it's starting to create diagrams to figure out what it might look like. And then the last one is evaluation, where we take those concepts that we've come up with and we test them against the guiding principles that we came up with earlier. In terms of timeline, this shows a snapshot of what we've been doing and what we will be doing through February. So right now we're working through making sure we've got those high-level guiding principles and that we know what those are, what the success criteria are, and then starting into the programming. And so we're going to be getting a lot of feedback from the end users on what the needs are for all the programs, pulling those together, and working through that through February. The planning will continue beyond February, but we want to make sure we have a good handle on what the needs are prior to the February bond holiday. And that's it. Any questions?
Melissa, tomorrow we'll be back with us on a monthly basis to give you updates on our process there and what's going on with the planning process for the high school. And she'll be reporting back on a monthly basis for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 9 on the agenda is consent calendar, consists of consideration of minutes, consideration of financial reports, consideration of purchase reports, and consideration of personnel reports. Any questions? Is there a motion to approve the items on the consent calendar? Second. Motion been moved second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion is approved. Item 10 on the agenda is consideration of approval for change proposal request number 50, demolition of residence and grading for bond 2015 at the Infinity Early College High School. Mr. Captain.
Thank you, sir. This is the resident that we purchased this summer that was right south of the new Infinity site. So this is to demo that residence and grade the land so we can take it into the park, green space, whatever you need.
Any questions? Is there a motion to approve the change proposal request number 50, demolition of residence and grading bond 2015 Infinity Early High School College?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion is approved. Item 11 on the agenda is consideration of approval for change proposal request number 17R1, cafeteria sound reinforcement for bond 2015 at New Caney High School.
Yes, sir. This is for a new sound system at New Caney High School cafeteria. They do have some assemblies, things of that nature in there from time to time, and there's a definite need to get a new system in that area.
Questions? Is there a motion to approve the change proposal request 17R1 cafeteria sound reinforcement of bond 2015 at New Caney High School?
So moved.
Next.
Motion been moved second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion is approved. Busy now. Item 12 on the agenda is consideration of the purchase of a parcel of land consisting of approximately 2 acres, more or less, located near the intersection of Antique Lane and Loop 494 in New Caney, to be used for district facilities, and authorize the superintendent to negotiate and execute a final sale and purchase agreement, as well as any related necessary amendments, closing documents, and post-closing documents.
Yes, sir. This is a piece of property near our transportation facility. We've had discussions in the past about expanding that facility as the district grows, so this will allow us to meet those needs and meet Mr. Rice's needs in the transportation department.
Is there any questions? Is there a motion to approve all that I just read? So moved. Motion been moved second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion is approved. Item 13 on the agenda is consideration of elementary attendance zones 2018 and 2019.
Yes, sir. With opening of Brookwood Forest next year, we will need to rezone the district. Ben's Branch Elementary, Sworderton Elementary, Crippen Elementary, and a few students at Valley Ranch Elementary will be impacted by this rezone. So we have gone through the process of talking with the curriculum department, with those principals on those campuses. We've also gone to address some teacher concerns on those campuses as the process involved and, who goes where and when. Also produced an online platform for parents or whoever to provide feedback. Posted those pictures in the campus lobbies, all that kind of stuff. Gave that opportunity out there. So now I'm asking for approval for those zones to accommodate the opening of Brookwood Forest Elementary in August 2018.
Are there any questions?
Do we get much feedback from the online portal or the
We got approximately 10 responses from that. We opened that up November 1st, and it was open all the way up through today. Most of those came from the Summer Hills area, and so we did consider that, looked at the overall plan, and we rezoned to accommodate current growth and future growth. And so Deanie looked at that consideration and still felt that it was best to continue with the current plan. And she also received no phone calls. We had her phone number listed on those posters and online as well. She didn't receive any phone calls or inquiries or anything about that.
They'll be up there next year having to make the change.
It's a never-ending process.
Any other questions? Is there a motion to approve elementary attendance zones for 2018 and 2019? Motion been moved second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is approved. Item 14 on the agenda is consideration of approval for attendance day waiver for December 8th, 2017. Mr. Castillo.
We would like to apply for a low attendance day waiver for December 8th, the snow day. And the first step to that is board approval.
What's the date? We got two.
December 8th.
It is December 8th.
Yes, sir.
Minutes 6, 7.
It's that Friday, it's
I got it.
We all remember that, should we? Is there any questions? Is there a motion to approve the attendance day waiver for December 8th, 2017?
Second.
Motion been moved second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion is approved. Item 15 on the agenda is consideration of the 2018-2019 academic calendar. Ms. Shaw.
Good evening. We began working on the development of our academic calendar for 2018-19 in October with conversations and cabinet meetings and considering feedback given by our faculty and staff. 2 options were shared with our district level advisory council so that they could gain feedback from their teachers and choose option 1 or option 2. And option 2 is what we're bringing to you tonight. It was chosen by the majority of campuses with just a couple changes that were recommended through the feedback that we got from the campuses.
Questions? there a motion to approve the 2018-2019 academic calendar? Motion been moved second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, motion is approved. Item 16 on the agenda is consideration of resolution authorizing reappraisal of property damage due to Hurricane Harvey.
Right, I brought this to y'all a couple of times during the report. This basically is just the actual resolution, and we're asking y'all to go ahead and adopt a resolution that will allow Montgomery County to reappraise the properties that were damaged during Hurricane Harvey to their value immediately following the hurricane. It does have some financial impact, about $300,000. That is at the high end, $300,000 with property taxes and a little bit of state funding loss because local air will go down. Questions?
Most all districts have been doing this.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve resolution authorizing reappraisal of property damage due to Hurricane Harvey?
So moved. Second.
Motion been moved second. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, motion is approved. Item 17 on the agenda is consideration of possible action on mediated settlements proposal in Brandon Jackson versus New Caney Independent School District. Civil action number 417 CV 01922, pending in Southern District of Texas, Houston Division.
Yes, sir. This is the case that we've been discussing that we heard an update about tonight. Just asking y'all's approval to move forward with that settlement.
Any questions? Is there a motion to approve the motion? Is there a motion to approve the settlement? Motion been moved second. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, motion is approved.
We do have a recognition. Mr. Calvert, if you'd like to recognize our new Director of Purchasing.
This is Mr. John Kirkham, better known as J.D. Kirkham. He's going to be joining Brandy's team as Director of Purchasing, so we are very excited to get him on board. I think he's going to start, he might even come in. So I know Brandy is thrilled to have him here, so just wanted to introduce him to y'all.
Looks like we started a couple hours ago.
Yeah, I think he actually works on that.
Yeah, would you like to introduce Viviana?
Sure. In addition to JW, Viviana, I hope I'm going to get this right, Antonangeli, don't ask me to spell it. She is going to be joining our office team in the superintendent's office. She'll be the senior executive assistant to the superintendent, deputy superintendent. So she'll be coming around, getting to know all y'all, and interacting in our office, doing a lot of the stuff Judy Milling was doing. And so a lot of interaction, a lot of planning, a lot of that. So I want to introduce her to y'all as well.
Hang on.
There be no further business. The meeting is adjourned at 9:06.